Hey Art Fam, it's Luis Martin, the art engineer. Welcome to the studio, welcome to the safe space. It's still Februllage, and it's actually Valentine's as I'm recording this, so I thought I'd give you a little piece of my heart and did a little show and tell. Because, I mean, what is more of a gift than someone opening their heart and their self to you, right? So let's do this. But before I do that, please remember to become a patron and keep the neon light on. It ensures our longevity. That Collage Dream will be a long-winded experience and adventure for all of us. Um, so actually, before I do that, yesterday we had a our annual uh, Valentine's paper Valentine's workshop. It was amazing. I'm always pushing people and having them overshare because, as you can tell, I enjoy oversharing. But stories are important, is my point. And today, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share the prompts that I've created, or the collages that I've created for the prompts of Februllage and the stories that emerge. Because when I create collages, when I make art, I usually don't have an outcome in mind. I just go to work. And then I remember, oh, this is for something. This is for the prompt warmth. This is for the prompt blah, blah, blah. And then the stories start to emerge. And when you, for me anyway, when I allow that to happen organically and slowly, magical things happen. I kid you not. So you want to take a look? All right. So here's my beautiful white wall, if you will. Listen, I'm going to give you a little challenge. If you're doing this Februllage adventure marathon, at the end, pick three and put them on your wall. Have a little show for yourself and put it on Instagram. Take a picture, send it to your friends, invite them over for wine or coffee. Have your own little opening. Celebrate, because I think this is a thing. I mean, maybe you sold a piece or two, maybe you didn't, maybe you haven't shared any of them, but this is something that we're doing. This is soul work, especially if you're following along with Collage Dream, because I'm not here for just the shits and giggles. I'm here for the soul work. So, having said that, the first one I want to share with you, I know I'm back on coffee. Can you tell? Is warmth. So, listen, um, I'm very I collage because I'm very reckless, honestly. And I don't paint because I'm very reckless. I'd have paint all over my face, all over my body, and I'd probably eat it. I like to be very free with the material because at the end of the day, and I've said this before many times, it's about the picture that emerges, that then I can manipulate, that then I can post, because more people are going to see the picture than they are the actual collage. Right, so don't get too precious about this, because at the end of the day, collage is all about paper, and paper is what? Ephemeral, right? It disintegrates. If you put it in the sun too long, it fades, just like us, right? Just like people. So warmth. Again, I just kind of went. I surround myself with images that I love, and I kind of just start weaving, and this is what came about. When I think of warmth, I found these two women, and they made me think of my aunt and my grandmother who raised me, and the things they taught me. I think it's really interesting because you never know what people pick up when you're teaching them things, right? So as a child, I picked up on certain things that I thought were law, right? One thing that my grandmother always told me continuously, it's better to be alone than in bad company. So I took that as law. So I am a loner. I am constantly alone. I'm constantly seeking that solitude because I came to understand that that's how you find peace, which is not a bad thing. But then it became a do as I say, not as I do kind of thing, because then I see her, like needing so much attention. And I guess as you get older, you feel lonelier. Uh, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. So grandma, and then I also, the other woman would be my aunt, who is a wonderful person who taught me appreciation for music, for books, for travel, and the idea of the offerings, right? These are obviously two indigenous women, and they have these pots. And what's in them, right? Like it's just, this to me is the idea of warmth, the generosity, the love, and I write a caption for all of them, and I don't have them with me, but this one is more about being initiated, right? Once you're taught this idea, once you're shown how to love, then you're set. You just have to kind of keep at it, right? So this is my hashtag warmth. The next one is encounter. So listen, this is, like I said, this is soul work. This is my therapy. When I think of encounter, I think of aliens, but I also immediately focus my energy, because collage, my art practice, is where I can unravel these knots in my life, right? And I live in the United States. I am Mexican, and I took one of those fun DNA things that revealed that I have lineage in California, which is where I'm from, but I was first generation there. But somehow my DNA ties me back to the people of California. But having said that, we're all the same people, right? Especially in the Americas, we've been divided by drawn borders. So colonialism is a huge thing that I think about, that I see in everything that I do, and everything that I experience as a brown person. So encounter to me very fast went to this, and I don't approach it from a victim mentality, quite the opposite, from a place of power, and that's why I have this kind of this poppy, I think it's a poppy. It's this thing that happened, right? And anytime you have a question about racism, anytime you have a question about why do Mexicans do this, why do Black people do that, it's always colonialism. So just accept it, because it's the truth, you know? And I know it's hard to hear, because you're like, oh, but it's 2025. Ramifications, a bell has been rung, and the sounds, the echoes are still being heard, right? The Big Bang. But we can work within that. Like, I have made it my mission to thrive. I have made it my mission to make art of it, right? So this is my encounter. I like to use collage, again, to unknot these little, tangles, that's another word, because I don't want to give them a place in my everyday life, right? Because that would be very difficult. So this is my encounter. The next one is wrong way. And listen, I am super sensitive when it comes to art. So when I was reading the prompts, some of them were kind of not triggering, but they weren't the most light-filled words. And one of them was wrong way. And I have this deep belief in things, right? I believe that we're all connected. I believe that I'm here for a reason. I believe that I am where I am because I need to be, not just because I'm not working hard enough or because I'm achieving this. So then I have to also believe that there is no wrong way. So when I get a prompt wrong way, I'm like, I don't want to do this one. But then there's always a way, right? So this whole collage became a conversation about, even when it feels like a wrong way, you're never in the wrong way. The forks always lead to you, to me, right? So this is very much that. And again, one of my members, I think it was Matt, I think this was you, Matt, sent me a comic book, and it was a French comic book of Native Americans, which is really cool. So I used that because, again, this idea of me as a person losing part of my identity, a language that I will never speak, rituals and ideas that have been lost, but somehow they all come back, right? So there's no wrong way. And I just thought it was a really cool geometric collage that emerged. I love geometric shapes. I rarely work this way, but I loved it. This was super, super fun. I love horses. I do not ride horses. I live in Brooklyn, but as a spirit animal, as a guide, I mean, how majestic, right? So this is wrong way. Again, you have to take your spin, right? Spin it your way so it works. The next one is tangled. I haven't asked. How are you? How tangled are you? Let me have some coffee. Let's go. Okay. Here's the tea. So yesterday I had this workshop, and I wanted to record it because I thought, oh, I can just, kill two birds with one stone and have it be my my YouTube video. But then I realized that people were like, oh, because it's Valentine's, and I was asking them to share things about love, about ideas of touches, kisses, and people were like, oh, people are going to see this. So I stopped recording. So I was like, now I have to create a video, which I love doing. But then I thought, wait a minute, I have so much. We forget this. We think we have to reinvent the wheel every day. No, I'm like, wait a minute, I've been making collages like crazy. Let me share them. So, okay, back to the story. So this is the prompt, tangled. And again, I was like, tangled? Like, how the hell? What? I wasn't interested in this word. But then I found there's a queer magazine called The Advocate, and it was these two men, and they were embracing, again, which is something you don't see very often, right? In mass media, especially. They were older too. It's the actor from Star Trek. And then I found this beautiful texture of flowers, and it kind of looks like intestines. I don't know. There's something very guttural about it, but at the same time, there's something so beautiful about these two entities emerge, right? And the whole idea of it was, even if you let someone go, if you get a divorce, if you break up, if you just don't see this person that you've loved all of your life, or a new whatever, there's always part of me in you, and there's always you in me, right? Especially when you've made a connection, and that's beautiful. And I think this is what I was conveying here. And I love when collages just take a few elements, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements, right? And it's so clean. And I love when it becomes abstract, right? I love maximalism. I love to put, the next one is like super maximalist, but sometimes an idea can be conveyed very easily. So this is about love, and eternal love, really. So tangled, yay. Okay, the next one is toxic. Again, what do I do with toxic, you guys? With that, I was like, oh, I know toxic. Yes, what's the question? What's the answer? Colonialism and war, right? So I found this wars scene, and I mean, it's self-explanatory. Yeah, I mean, this is still so relevant, right? History has never been history. History has just been a continuation of the same fucking day, and we're still doing this to each other. So I would love to paint this on a huge mural, or blow it up. I paint, and I love to paint. This would be really fun. As painful as it was to kind of think about this and spend time creating this, I also have to, and again, if I believe in what I believe, then I'm going to have to believe, right? And I really do believe that we all have a part in what we do, in the life that we live, right? We're all active participants. So it's interesting to think about how this plays out. And I will note the absence of women in this scene. Yeah. So toxic, yes, super toxic. Toxic masculinity, toxic war as sport, toxic desire, envy. I mean, it's all there, and it's all there, right? Look out the window. I I had fun doing it. It's beautiful. I love spending time with it, as painful as it is. But I would also love to paint this. So maybe I will at some point. And then the last one, because I don't want to go too deep, is this one. This is, and again, look, I didn't even glue everything down because to me, art is in the doing. Like, I don't care what, I do care, but it's more important for me to be doing this, for me to drink my coffee, listen to my music, and be manipulating the paper and be in the magic, right? And it took me a while to learn that because we think of art as the product that makes it to the museum that we sell. And that's great, that's its own thing. But as artists, the real magic is in the making. The real magic is in the moving of things, in the strokes and the cuts and all of these conversations that we have with our hands, right? And that's really exciting when you get there, because then you're not pressured to create beautiful things. You're just the magician, right? So this is for Dream. I did not make this with Dream as an intent, actually. I woke up this morning and I was like, because this is today's prompt, and I was like, oh, I didn't make a collage for Dream, because I did make one, but it didn't feel right. And then I started looking at my piles of collages that I'm making, and I'm like, oh wait, this is total Dream. And it's called Reoccurrence because I do have reoccurring dreams, and they're not the funnest. I'm always traveling, or I'm always in a hotel, which is kind of haunted. At any rate, I also called it Reoccurrence because this is something that I do often. I always put lips with a mountain on top. That's something that I kind of don't do intentionally, but it always kind of comes up. And I feel that in many ways, I'm giving voice to the ineffable, the higher self, right? That's something that I do a lot as well. And but I want to be gentle with my story. So I'm thinking, how can I rewrite this story so it feels good to me? So the whole idea was that the mountain is trying to keep a straight face. It's trying to not laugh at how dramatic and when I sit there playing my sad violin about woe is me, because we all do that, reminding me that, hey, you drew this map, you chose this journey with a pencil. So you can erase. Course correction is an option, and it's not a transgression. As a matter of fact, if you want, you can fly to the summit right now. That was my resolve. That's what I heard. And that's what I did. And this might be one of my favorite ones because it's so light, because there's no baggage to process, which is important. But here it was just kind of like, oh, it's me and God reminding me that, hey, you can fly. So here I am flying. And I had a really, really great time. And so what do they all have in common? What's the common thread? I advised all of my art fam to kind of focus and kind of create a series that can kind of be kind of cohesive, right? And a lot of these, there's a lot of colors, divinity, colonialism, which all goes back to my purpose, right? And this is a really important time to kind of keep your purpose in mind. Again, we've never not been here, but how do we survive this? How do we get through this? Through purpose. What is your purpose? Do you want to share your gift with others? Do you just want to be okay? It's enough. Sometimes that's enough. So I invite you to align yourself and remind yourself of your purpose, because that's how I wake up every morning, you guys. I really do. I'm not understating the gravity and the weight of things, right? But I'm so blessed that I can create art and share it with you. That's it. This is a short video. I just really wanted to show and tell, because it's really important. Really, I can't over articulate this. Share what you do. Just share it with one person, two people, and you never know. You never know what they're going to get out of it, right? And maybe that's part of your purpose. All right. This is Luis Martin, the art engineer. Always glad you're here. You're always welcome in the safe space. Become a patron. Keep the lights on. I really appreciate it. It goes a long way. And I will see you here, there, and everywhere you take your phone. Cheers.